without some of the tools that are in our toolkits, we wouldn't be able to keep upping the quality while also being like essentially one person content studios in our homes.
It is Buffer Chat time, friends in our virtual studio and folks listening at home. A very warm, buffery welcome. I'm so excited to be spending some time with you today. And just know that if you are listening to a recording of this on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, you're in the future right now. You may be listening to this in a week or two's time, but this is my first time back in the virtual studio in 2025. So please forgive me if I'm very rusty. But we're going to push through because I also have a very dear friend as my guest today. And I know she is going to be kind and forgive me. Okay, before we get into the weeds, my name is Kirsty Lang. I am a senior content writer at Buffer. And today we are talking about using AI to augment your process as a creator. And joining me in the virtual studio is Tami Oladipo, my teammate on the Buffer content team and Buffer's resident LinkedIn influencer and AI wizard. So she is the perfect fit for this topic. Tami, thank you so much for making the time today.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah, we've talked
Haven't done
about
one
this for
of
so
these in a
long.
while. Yes, we have.
We have.
We
And I like
have.
last week, I sprang it on Tami. I was like, listen, we're doing the thing now because you've been doing so much
Yeah.
video, right? So I feel like
Yes.
you're just so comfy on camera now.
I wouldn't say comfy per se, but I'm more comfortable than I used to be. So
Well, you look just so chilled, and I love all of your video content. Okay, we're gonna get into this. But before we do, a little bit more about Tami. So she is, as I said, a content writer at Buffer by day and then a LinkedIn creator by night. She has grown an audience of over 15,000 people following her creator journey, as well as her insights on career growth and remote work. She also runs a newsletter, which is a brilliant read, content as a career to help early career professionals who want to work from anywhere. So that is a good segue for me, Tami. If we could kind of get started by looking at your creator journey, where you started, and how you got to where you are now.
yeah. My creator journey. So it's definitely been in fits and starts. I've always needed like internal motivation to get me to do things, and I wasn't going to pursue the creator thing if I didn't. I don't know. I think it was sometime in 2023 where LinkedIn just started to use
Popping off?
the terms of my generation. Yes, popping up. That was what I was going. I was looking for a more professional way to say
Is
that, but
that,
yes.
I'm so millennial that I just said that, I feel like.
No, popping off is the right term. So 2023, my LinkedIn starts getting attention from different people, mostly because as a writer for Buffer, I was also trying to understand the creator economy and just be in my audience's shoes. And we're starting to write
Mm,
more about creators. So it was just a natural progression of, okay, I need to have some hands on experience if I want to write more effectively about
yeah.
these topics. So that was kind of where it started from for work. And then personally, it just started, people just started paying more attention and taking what I was saying seriously, which was its own thing. It's taken a while to adjust to people like looking to you and your words for inspiration or education or whatever. But that was where it started from. LinkedIn has been my primary platform, but I have explored other platforms. You may have seen some of my articles on the Buffer blog where I will try posting on a platform or like using a certain feature for a number of days and then writing about what that experience is like. And through doing that, kind of naturally just led me to growing an audience and this year 2025 taking it more seriously and trying to monetize, posting more consistently. Yeah, that's kind of what led me here.
I love that because you are literally the perfect example of all of the kind of tried and tested advice that we share on the Buffer blog. Like it works. Do you know
It
what I
does
mean?
work.
Like
Yeah.
all of the stuff that we advise people to do, we advise them because we do
because
them.
we've tried it.
And
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. And Tami knows better than anybody how to build an audience, especially
Yeah.
on a platform that still feels like it's emerging, LinkedIn. But Tami's also killing it on TikTok as well. I mean, because she's Gen Z, how can she not?
Oh,
Um,
I would say you're doing
right?
better than me, Kirsty, actually.
Oh no, I accidentally
Honestly.
made one viral TikTok.
Not
And I
accidentally.
literally it was kind of an accident because it went so viral because what I said was incorrect. And there were so many
Oh,
people.
yeah.
It's so silly. It was about my mechanical keyboard, and I said that it had a sound. I'm getting so deep into the weeds. I may have
Yeah.
to edit this part out. But I said that it made a sound that it didn't make, and people were irate
It
about the
was
description
such
that
an
I used for my
outsized
keyboard.
reaction to creamy,
Yeah.
clacky. It's a keyboard. It's a
It's a
keyboard sound, you
keyboard.
guys.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just riding off the keyboard wave on TikTok. I need to kind of up my game in terms of TikTok and other platforms. But LinkedIn is also my home right now, um, and I think it lends itself well to the tools that you and I love. Um, because it can still be text based, right? And that is our
Mhm.
strength. And that's something that we talk about a lot. I think a lot of people kind of getting into social now feel like I need to be creating 3 reels a week and shorts and does TikTok still even exist? Like it's very confusing, and there's a lot of I think pressure to be in front of the camera in order to be successful on social, whether you're a creator or you're a brand.
Yeah.
Um, but I think so much of what we talk about is actually there is still a huge place for text based content on social. And as much as we're
1000%.
experimenting with video and having like a lot of fun with it, your audience, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, video is pretty new for you. You have built your
Yes.
audience off the back of the strength of your text based content.
Yeah.
Um, and that's really encouraging for me because, even as I kind of dig more into video, it's still, as you mentioned earlier, it's still
Different.
not
Yeah.
it's still not my
Yeah.
like home, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I'm already. Can you tell the tangents are strong today? Speaking of the tools that we use to augment our work, so let's start by talking about your journey with AI. I feel like you have been an early adopter. Um, I don't know. Tell me a little bit about your first experience of AI. Were you quite skeptical as a writer? Because I definitely was. I felt initially very threatened by AI.
Oh, I
Mm.
had the opposite reaction, honestly. So I think like my attention to generative AI. So I'm sure AI has been around for longer than like
Yeah,
ChatGPT, of course.
sure.
But like
Yeah.
if we're talking like generative AI, LLMs, the whole 9 yards, that
Yes.
was to me, it felt like, oh, this new tool has come out. Like that was my first instinct. It was, I've always been someone who looks at tools as like tools. They're
Mm.
what you make of them. If you can't use a hammer, you can't use a hammer. You have to learn. It could hurt you as well. It could help. So looking at
Yeah.
like AI as a tool is was kind of like my first approach to it, and then I started seeing the other side, opinions of like people wondering how this would affect artists and writers and
Mm.
forming different opinions and coming to new conclusions about AI. So at first I was really excited about it. I signed up for ChatGPT the second it was like publicly available, and
Yeah.
I'm always using tools and always recommending tools and always showing how like AI fits into my process. But I don't think AI can replace humans, and that's coming from someone who has been using it since generative AI became like mainstream.
Mm.
Um, it just can't it just can't sound like me. It can't do what I do. Like whenever you get something back from an AI tool, unless it has like all the context of like your past chats, which is a new
Yes.
feature in ChatGPT that they just added where you can like prompt it to remember your past conversations and like
Wait, I didn't know
your
that. Even
oh
like
yeah,
in
you could.
different like threads?
Yeah, in different chats, yeah. With any new chats, you can tell
Whoa.
it based on our past conversations, come up with so like your voice and tone, your style, the structures that you prefer. it
Oh
like
man.
keeps the memory of that, which I guess now you could see that as like a threat if you wanted to look at it that way. But like I still don't think it can. It still requires so much fine tuning to get it to
Yes.
do so. It can't just be on its own like a valuable tool. Like you need to use it and refine it and do all the formats and do all the prompting, and everyone knows how tough prompting is. Like prompting threads still
Yes.
go viral on threads and like Twitter or whatever. So
X.
I would say X, yes. I know we're supposed to call it that, but it doesn't feel natural. Anyway, I would say AI is definitely still a tool to me. It's an exciting tool. There are new developments coming up every day. I've been trying out DeepSeek and
Mm.
it's fun to do for me. I don't see it as a threat though. To me it's just a tool.
It's
A
just
fun
another
tool,
tool.
but still a tool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean my journey is quite different. I was initially like really freaked out. But and I love a tool, but like AI, I was
Mm,
like this is really scary as a writer.
yeah.
Something can come in and with some clever prompting, it
Hmm.
can do what I do pretty
Yeah.
well. But now, kind of, and initially I was like, I even did like some LinkedIn post about, hey, this is the thing that AI is getting wrong. And if it tells you studies, it's wrong and it's hallucinating. And yes, it does do all those things. I
Listen, it
was
still
very,
does, yeah.
yeah, I was very AI angsty. I think TM,
Mm.
that's a good term. But but like now kind of having, and a big part of what's driven that, it has been watching you adopt tools and seeing how you use them, and even other folks at Buffer like Haley and Tammy, like Haley and Simon, and they how they lean on AI. It's just,
Yeah.
it has absolutely, even just in the past 6 months, it has absolutely changed the game for me. And I've started to understand how to prompt things better. I've started to almost anticipate the shortfalls and know where the problems are going to be. So
Hmm.
I don't know, even when I'm kind of writing a blog post, I'll generate a complete draft um, with an AI tool, whichever one I'm using at the time, because I use different ones,
Yeah.
just because I like to, test the waters with new stuff.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, I get such satisfaction, and it gives me a draft, and I can just tear the thing apart and put it back together. And even
Yeah.
though the initial draft has been AI generated, there is nothing left of that, but it has still saved me so much time because
So
it's
much
given me a
time. Yeah.
structure, it's given me talking points, it's given me
Hmm.
a general direction, and I'll even prompt it with like, this is my style, this is how I write, and it never gets it right.
Still,
But
yep.
it,
And
yeah,
somehow it just never does.
it's always, I'm like, oh,
Surprisingly.
that's very
I
cheesy.
wouldn't do that.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, let's sit down, chat GPT. Um, but yeah, so I've really been on like such a journey, and I use it so heavily now. So I just finished putting together a report on our YouTube performance, and I was having the best time uploading CSVs to chat GPT and be like,
Yes.
listen, please explain to me, what is the
CSVs,
significance?
data analysis in ChatGPT saved my
Yes.
life.
As creative
Honestly.
people, yeah, numbers
Yeah, the numbers
are
are.
not,
Mm-mm.
no.
Yeah, let's just
Numbers, we
leave it
love
at
them.
that.
Well, that brings me to my next perfect segue, because we recently, fairly recently, we like to dig into all the data that we have at Buffer. And we also have a wonderful data scientist on the team, Julian, who is a billion times better. That is a specific, precise number than
Yeah.
an AI tool. And he gathers up all the data and he helps us analyze it and he pulls out patterns for us. And we've done all sorts of things. We've measured, efficacy of different types of posts, of like when to post on various platforms. And one of the studies Tammy worked on with him was using AI in content. And it came up with some really interesting results, Tammy. And I was hoping you could kind of talk us through that a little bit. We'll link to the actual study in the show notes and all of the
Yeah.
findings. But yeah, let's. I'm gonna stop talking, Kirsty. Tammy, tell us
Yeah.
about the study.
Okay, so the study was, and I'm looking directly, so if I seem distracted, that's why. I'm looking at the article that I wrote, so it's not cheating. The study was us analyzing how 1.2 million posts created with Buffer's AI assistant versus human only performed, and like what that means, what that meant for contents in general. So AI moves at the speed of light. So of course, always take these results with like a grain of, this was the time. We are, I think, 6 months in to the study,
Yeah.
but most of it should still be accurate. But yeah,
Mhm.
so what we discovered was that AI assisted posts consistently showed higher median engagement rates across all platforms. So the exact numbers were, AI assisted posts had a higher rate at 5.87%, and non AI posts had a lower rate at 4.82%. But the conclusion that we actually came to, and this came after like a brainwave that I had, I asked Julian, who is our, I don't know if you mentioned his name
Julian.
first. Yeah,
I did.
I
He's
asked
the most famous
Julian.
person at Buffer.
He is the most, at this point. You mentioned him like every YouTube video, right? If I'm not,
I put
almost
his
every
picture in
YouTube
my
video.
YouTube videos. I don't even know
Yeah.
if he knows that. I should tell him.
Yeah, you probably should. But I asked Julian about AI, the AI assisted posts, and whether people who use the AI assistants tended to publish more. And he said that according to the data, the answer was yes. So the
Mm-hmm.
conclusion that we came to was that AI wasn't necessarily the like clincher when it came to engagement. It wasn't that by using AI you got higher engagement. That wasn't the like correlation. The correlation is that AI helps you create more content, which helps you be more consistent. And consistency is like the number one. It's what we are all about at Buffer these days. You will see that in a couple of features and like articles that we've done recently. But consistency is proven to yield higher engagement rates across the board, no matter what,
Yes.
as long as you're posting if on a fairly regular cadence, a fairly regular volume, you will see higher engagement. That's just how the math plays out. So what we found was that AI does help people to create more because it saves time, like we mentioned. Like once you can get like an outline, we have enough experience to like build off an outline or like take an AI generated draft and like make that our own,
Mm.
and put in like our human experiences and all those things that people say are the things that AI can't do. AI can't do them, yes, but it can get you to the starting point easier or like
Yes.
farther in the race. So like you're at the starting point with AI, someone else is not using AI, and you are moving faster just because you have like that extra
They're still
bit of
putting on their
assistance.
shoes
Uh,
in the proverbial race. They're
yeah,
lacing up their shoes. You've got
yes.
your shoes on and you're
And
ready.
you're like halfway down the track, yeah.
Yeah,
So that
that's a
was
good
the
analogy.
conclusion that we came to.
Yeah. So okay,
This
let's
study.
let's summarize. So generally, AI assisted content got more engagement than
Mm-hmm.
content that was completely human generated, and
Yeah.
the conclusion that we drew, it wasn't because that content was necessarily higher quality or
Or
anything like
better.
that. It was
Yeah.
just because, exactly, just because the folks using, and this is Buffer's AI assistant, so that is baked in, but it's because folks using Buffer's AI assistant were just producing more regularly, and that was one of the
Yep.
key points in the study. I think that is really cool. Speaking of, also on the point of consistency, we also did a very, very recent
Yeah.
study on how impactful. I have to promote this because
Yes.
it is my Roman Empire right now.
It is
Um,
beautiful.
it's so great. Like, so anyway, we did a recent study on how much posting consistently impacts your content performance. And we found that folks who did post, our most consistent posters, tended to get, what was it? It was 5 times more engagement. So
Yeah.
that's likes, comments, shares than
Mm-hmm.
the inconsistent posters. And I think that is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful because it is, yeah. Anyway, you can go and look in that study. We will link to
Yeah.
it in the show notes as well. But coming back to tools and speaking about, we've got Buffer's AI assistant. It is obviously, there are a host of tools I know that you use in your work. I'd love it if you could kind of talk us through what your process looks like now and where the real time savers are for you in terms of using AI tools for creation.
Yeah. So there are three big things. Talked about them on the blog. I talk about them in my social media. The main thing for me these days is data analysis. I am no analyst by any stretch of the imagination.
Analyst.
I
Analysis.
yes,
What is the
I'm
word
not
even?
whatever that is. Yeah, I'm not even close. I barely scraped by in math in school, and I've been told that math and data have so like clearly I have no idea what to do with data if I'm correlating math and data with each other. But with the help of a multitude of tools, to be honest, I've tried ChatGPT and Claude for data analysis. Both have been super helpful. ChatGPT even more so for me, just because it's what I'm more familiar with. But for analyzing CSVs and like helping to tie or find threads that I can pull on for articles,
Mm,
it's been super helpful. Especially when data sets like gets kind of outsized. Sometimes you can look at like the Excel sheets and say, "Oh yeah, I can draw this conclusion by myself without even having to like use any or get any assistance." And sometimes you have like 5 sheets and they have like 100 columns each, and it's just
mm,
impossible to do on your own. So on that front, AI has been massively helpful. And then on the content repurposing side, it's also been such a great addition to how I work. So we write a lot of, and Kirsty, you have way more experience with this than me, with the podcasts and the YouTube videos and the writing, and having to like sometimes contribute to other people's um like content creation process. It's a lot of work to do, right? So taking a really long piece of content that you spent hours working on, turning
mm.
that into a LinkedIn post, into a thread, into a script for a YouTube video, I have found AI to be massively helpful for just when it's a lot of platforms and a lot of ground that you have to cover, giving you kind of a better starting point, and then being able to go in and edit down something when you ask for 180 character tweets and ChatGPT gives you 250 for whatever reason. Having to do that, you saved so much time just by
Yeah.
asking it to like give you the starting version of that. So those are two main things that I can think of. I've also tried this tool called Opus Clip for my
Yes,
one
yeah, I've
YouTube
seen people
video
talking
on
about
the
this.
yeah, my one YouTube video. I will do more this year, I promise. But
Yeah,
my
I'm
one
gonna come for
YouTube
you.
video on the buffer on the buffer channel, I was able to pull short form video clips from it using Opus Clip. It also has like all these editing capabilities to help make that process easier.
Mm,
CapCut, of course, has AI built in really well, so you don't even notice that what you're using is like it shouldn't
yes,
be able to do that automatically, but like it does, and I don't have to learn Premiere Pro, so yeah, for that. So video editing,
yeah,
content repurposing, and data analysis. Those are three main things I've been using AI for recently.
yes, 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 yes to all of those things. I want to kind of come right back to the beginning because the idea of, kind of, I think a lot of creators will be listening to this, oh, but I don't have to do any data analysis like to create my content or, you know,
Mm.
right? So, but to people who say that, I raise you. If you, particularly for LinkedIn creators, so if you are creating, you are looking for content about your work or how successful a project
Mm.
has been or things like that, I think it is such a great idea to feed into your AI tool of choice and be like,
Yeah,
hey, here is our recent, if you can obviously share this data. I know at Buffer we are pretty unique in being able to like be completely
share stuff.
transparent with
Yeah,
everything that we work on. But yeah, I'm just uploading that data and be like, hey, I worked on this project and these were the recent results. Can you pull out some interesting insights for me that
yeah,
I can share? Um, that is a
100%.
great one. I think ideation is such a superpower of AI. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, Claude or ChatGPT, like I wouldn't even know where to start with those. And that is, I mean, obviously, I really want to talk about Buffer's own AI assistant because it is so simple, right? There's no like,
Yeah.
yes, it doesn't have like the iterative processes of some of these
Hmm.
bigger tools, but it is so simple in that you can feed it right in the create space. You can feed it, hey, this is my industry. This is the kind of content create, generate some ideas for me. And like, how easy is that? It just spits out ideas for you in your create space and you can save them. So it is a really nice, for me, and when I was still feeling quite intimidated by AI, that was where I kind of found my feet a little bit in like learning to
Hmm.
prompt well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that like generating ideas. And even if I didn't use the ideas, they often kind of led me down rabbit
Kick,
holes that sparked some
yeah,
new ones,
kickstart something
right?
new.
So
Yeah.
exactly, it's kind of just like having a bit of a partner baked into your process, and I think that
Hmm.
is a cool thing to highlight. I know you've also mentioned
Yeah.
that you use it to kind of trim down longer posts and then repurpose that
Yes.
for platforms that have character limits as well.
Yeah. Yeah. LinkedIn is a big one, so I tend to write these like really wordy
Same.
LinkedIn posts. Guilty. I'm going to try a different style. But for the moment, while I do, whenever I need to take that content to somewhere else, like threads, I can just ask for a shorter version. I can also
Mm.
ask for something that's a bit shorter to be expanded. And having that is sometimes just like it has done the work of thinking of what to
Yeah.
remove and like what to keep in while still retaining the context for you, which is sometimes all that you need. We're so busy creating so much content every single day. Having just a little more assistance is the whole point of Buffer's AI assistant. So in that regard, it's also been very helpful for me. Um,
Yeah.
and I can do it all within Buffer, which I'm spending so much time in there every day. It's
Really?
I really am. No, you would be so with Creator Camp, which is
Yes.
its own thing. I've been spending a lot of
Context.
time in Buffer. Context. Creator Camp is a 30-day challenge we've been running with the Buffer community where we encourage folks to post consistently for 30 days, however many days of those 30 days they want to post, to whatever platform in whatever format they choose. We share prompts, we share resources, we share encouragements, we share community, and
AI
it's been
tools.
great so far. Yes, we share so much. You guys should get on that if you haven't. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should.
Yeah.
Kirsty will
That is
add
another
all the
link.
details where. Yeah.
I will add all the links. There's going to be so many links in in these show
So
notes.
many links.
I exactly. Okay. So coming back to tools, we've talked about obviously Buffer's AI assistant, we've talked about
Hmm.
ChatGPT and Claude, which are kind of like the big obvious AI tools, but I wonder if you can talk about, you will often kind of pop up in like Buffer's more casual channels and be like, "Hey, found this really
Yeah.
cool thing and it does this like a very." So like talk me through a couple of the tools that you're using at the moment, those like weird and wonderful ones that folks might not have heard about. Oh, and
Yeah.
we talked about Opus Clip. So
Yeah. Opus Clip. So Opus Clip, yes. I've been using Spiral, which this
yeah.
has nothing to do with whatever you will find on my LinkedIn. I have been using Spiral on my own. I
Mm-hmm.
love Spiral. I've also been using Audio Pen, which someone recommended to me. It was just included in an article on the Buffer blog. I've been using that, and it's this tool where you can like talk, you can like do stream of consciousness into a microphone on your phone, on your browser, which was amazing to discover because like sometimes you don't want to pick up your phone in the middle of your workday. So like I just like tapped the button on their websites and it gave me like it's put what I was thinking, what I was saying into a coherence. It was so it was so crazy to use because
That's
it was so
amazing.
accurate to what I was trying to get at. Because sometimes when I talk, like I edit my videos a lot. Like I'm the everyone says that you shouldn't, but I'm the person that like cancels or deletes a whole clip and starts from the beginning. Even if what I was saying was like
Yeah.
completely original to me, I have to start from scratch if I feel like I didn't say things properly. And I also leave in all my ums and likes, which not a great sign of speech stuff
No,
or
that's
whatever.
authenticity. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It
okay.
is.
Those are some great tools to check out.
Yes.
I
Please do.
speaking of I think my favorite use case of AI right now is when I film.
Yeah.
Listen, the bloopers are, we love them. The ums
Yeah.
and the ahs and the dead space. So I think one of the biggest time saves for me, and most video tools that will do this at the right now. So if you are like me and you don't want to like cancel and start from the beginning with your filming, which is very valid, and the perfectionist in me sees the perfectionist in you. But I tend to just record my clips in like one giant, and sometimes I'll just like start from the beginning and end up with like a 20-minute clip, right? When I'm making a video. And so I'll just dump the entire thing. So I'm using CapCut Desktop at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
But and then it has like the remove filler
Yeah, the
words
remove. I
thing.
forgot about that. Yes, that is so perfect. And like it will do the captions for you,
Yep.
right? And you can do it without the caption. It is the perfect tool. It's the tiniest feature that changes your life so much.
Yes, well, and so many of the tools, I've just literally updated our AI video tools article on the Buffer blog. Now, I'll link that in the show notes too, because this thing is just going to be a whole lot of links. But yeah,
Yeah.
and most tools do that now. Veed does it, Descript does it really well.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of their
Descript is
primary AI
amazing.
features.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. So that is also a brilliant use case. Honestly, I don't think I would have been able to keep up with the rate at which I want to produce video content while for
Mm-hmm.
Buffer's YouTube while still being a
Mm-hmm.
relative beginner without AI. And you've been
Yeah.
such an instrumental part of that, because you have been the one who has helped me. My entire scripting process right now is so fast because you have set up various tools in order to make this happen. So we've used ChatGPT for this. We've also used Spiral for this, where you can train, and Spiral is great for like training AI
Mm-hmm.
to behave or like to create a certain output based on
Yeah.
other things like it. So we were able to kind of
Mm-hmm.
throw in a bunch of previous YouTube scripts and then
Yeah.
throw in a new blog post that still has yet to be scripted and
Mm-hmm.
converted to a YouTube video. And it turns out a very solid script. And one thing I will say
Yeah.
about Spiral is it is so much less cheesy
Yes, it
than a
is.
lot of the
I
other
don't
AI
know
tools.
what's happening on the back end, but like I've noticed that too, where like it doesn't repeat the AI things. So like you know
Mm.
how sometimes in an article, if you're writing about like social media in today's digital world and
Oh, kill
how
it with
everyone
fire.
hates like hyphens, no, the M
Hey,
dash. Yes.
I have always M dashed, and I will
Yes, I
continue to
have
M
always
dash.
I will continue to M dash till the day I
Yeah.
leave this earth.
Honestly,
Yes.
I think the amount of M dashes that I have spread into the world through my writing is the reason that AI is such a, because it was trained. Like I tipped the scales
The scales.
in favor. Yeah, it's my fault. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so that is all of the various video things. It's also worth noting, and this is something that you and I don't use a whole lot in our work because we are mostly
Mm.
text-based creators, but in terms of video and images that AI can create, it is
Mhm.
terrifying. I learned so many
Mm, yeah.
so many terrifying things. There are some amazing. So if you are a marketer or a creator and you are looking to kind of create clips from scratch to kind of boost the video
Mhm.
content that on your various platforms, Veed is a great one to check out. You can prompt it to create a video end to end, and it will
Mhm.
work kind of in the same way as a chat GPT when it generates a draft or something like that. So you'll be given a basic video. There will be like Veed stock footage in there if that's what you've asked for. It can generate AI stuff as well, AI clips as well. They're a little bit, some of them are a bit creepy and uncanny
Mhm.
valley,
Yeah.
but some of them are really good. Anyway, so that kind of gives you a great base to work with if you find video quite intimidating. What else did I want to mention in terms of AI video tools? We've talked about Descript. I
Mhm.
think a lot of them, obviously, like generative AI video is, I mean, there are creators who work this way. I know my favorite book
Yeah.
talkers will like create scenes from
Oh,
books with generative AI, but I realize that is a relatively
yeah.
niche space. But like
Have you
Runway is
seen
great
those
for
YouTube
that.
videos that are like they'll do Harry Potter characters as
No,
Balenciaga
don't.
models? That
Stop.
is you haven't seen those? They
I
went
haven't seen
viral
that
like
one. I've
2 years
seen.
ago.
Okay, please send me that link. We will not pop that one in the show notes. No, I'm kidding. We will.
No, we
Um,
definitely won't. Yeah. It's
but
not
yeah, like
great.
turning Harry Potter characters into friends, like what an amazing
Yeah.
use of AI, right?
I'm sure.
We've come so
Sure.
far.
We've come so far.
We've come so far.
And we have so far
Yeah,
to go.
yeah. No, agreed. But I think the point that kind of Tammy and I are both coming around to is like leveraging these tools really, it's like it just takes a lot of the intimidation factor out of creating content
Hmm.
because it will
Yeah.
generate a draft, it'll generate a script. Like you will not be starting from nothing. And I think that is the power of using AI as a creator. It can just
Yeah.
boost your pace, make you feel more comfortable, help you stay
Yeah.
more consistent.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not advocating for just like dumping whatever ChatGPT
Oh,
gives you
definitely. Please
as a
don't do
LinkedIn
that. And
post.
especially don't leave in the like the asterisk in whenever you copy paste like edit it to some degree. Like let something be from you. Even if it's just the editing. Copy pasting your AI's response is not the way to go, you guys. I'm just putting that out there. No shade. Just saying on my
Yeah,
own.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think like we talked a lot about consistency as being like one of the most effective things that you can do to grow on social. But another one of those things is authenticity. And I think there's nothing worse that even if you are producing multiple posts a day on whatever platform of choice, if there is
Yeah.
nothing of you in it, that is
Then there's no, yeah,
exactly. I should have added a
there's no
section in
point.
like how not to use AI for this
Um,
podcast. I think that
yeah.
would have been a
I
that
would
would have been a
say
whole
how
vibe.
not to use it is don't develop your own style. Like AI works best when you have your own thing that you're doing already, and then you're using it as a way to make doing that thing easier. So you are already writing blog posts, we are already going to make YouTube videos. AI has just helped us make those processes faster, more efficient, and
Smoother.
also helped
Yeah.
us produce more quality content. Um, Without some of the tools that are in our toolkits, we wouldn't be like able to keep upping the quality while also being like one essentially one person content studios in our homes. So on that front, especially Kirsty, I will say you guys have seen the YouTube videos and you will see this YouTube video, so you know
Well,
what I'm
hopefully
talking
you've seen
about.
them. Hopefully you've seen them. Please go
Hopefully you
watch
see,
them.
and if you
Work
haven't,
so
you
hard.
should.
Thank you. That's a wonderful compliment. I definitely see that of you as well. I'm so impressed
Thank
with
you.
all of the content that you've been able to create as part of Creator Camp as well, and how much you have been experimenting. Um, and I think with video and like finding your feet there, and yeah, it's been a delight to watch. And it's so cool if you are looking to get started as a LinkedIn creator or looking to monetize as a LinkedIn creator. Tami is documenting every step of the journey, and she is, I mean, I'm biased, but I feel like even if I didn't know you, you would still be one of my favorite follows on LinkedIn and TikTok. So definitely go and check out Tami's content, both
Yeah.
there and on the Buffer blog as well, because there are some great articles there. Yeah, Tami, the best place to find you is probably LinkedIn, right?
Yes, best place to find me is LinkedIn. I'm always there
Okay,
all the time.
always online. That's the best thing about
Yeah.
our jobs, I feel, is we get to be on social all day, every day, which
Oh,
is a double edged
yeah,
sword.
it's yeah,
Yeah,
double edged sword for sure.
double it. But yeah, so often I'll be like writing an article. This is a complete aside. I'm probably gonna have to remove this, but I'll be writing an article about how to do something on Instagram, and I'll be like, right, gotta go and get screenshots. Open Instagram. 2 hours
And
later,
then
okay, not
two
2 hours,
hours, yeah.
at least 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh my
No,
gosh,
yeah,
where have
we
I
spend a
been?
sizable amount of time. Yeah, that happens to me whenever we have to do like a an examples article for, or like we just have to add examples. Maybe we're writing about like B2B social media on TikTok, and somehow 2 hours have passed after searching up B2B companies, which there are some really good ones on TikTok, you guys. I'm just saying, we are doing it for good, a good cause, a great cause. In fact.
A good course. Okay, well, on that note, I think we have covered everything that I was hoping to get through. I'm just checking my
Awesome.
script. This one was not AI generated. Tammy, is there anything else you feel like any kind of pearls of wisdom you want to impart as a long time kind of AI super user and creator?
Super user. I wouldn't say,
Superhero?
I don't know if this is like a pearl necessarily, but one thing that did come to mind in our conversation is like an easy way to kind of get your footing if you're trying to become a creator and you are also trying to find like partner with AI to make that process easier. Is take so case studies are a big example, or like reports. So we have our like data reports, and I've seen a couple of people take the article and the graphs that we share and turn them into like carousels, and of course, this there are different levels of comforts with people. Some people don't like you taking their data, and but if you're just sharing a LinkedIn post or like a Twitter thread, then just take the data, make sure to give credits, of course. But that's a really good way to like have AI find the threads that relate to you. So if it's like a report on like our AI versus non AI posts, you can like a conclusion that you've come to on your own, you can make that the hypothesis of your post and then use our data to back it up. So that's a really easy way to get started because you are showing your own expertise, but you're using existing content to like pad out the post that you're working on, make that process easier for you. But yeah, if
Mm.
that was coherent, then that is something that I recommend that someone try doing to make content creation just a bit easier.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
tip. Repurpose, 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 repurpose. Um, yeah, thank you for hanging out with us, folks in the audience. Okay, Tammy, thank you for making the time. I will include all of the links. We have talked about 300,000
Yeah.
links in the show notes and the YouTube caption. And then, of course, links to all of Tammy's
Of course.
socials. She is
Yeah.
a joy to follow. So I highly recommend that you do that.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye everyone.